and welcome to the Adam Messer Show. Welcome to the Adam Messer Show. I'm your host, Adam Messer, and I interview authors, artists, and entertainers. We discuss their process, how they overcome obstacles, and their creative works. I hope you enjoy the show. All right, and my special guest today is Thomas McCormick from Wicked South Productions. How you doing today, Tom?
I'm doing good. How's it going, Adam?
Great, man. Thank you so much for being in the studio. I really appreciate you coming out. This month we've been talking about all about the terror and horror and the fun stuff of Halloween. And so Wicked South Productions, everybody, y'all have this corn maze this year, right? The Haunted Corn Maze?
Haunted Corn Maze, yep.
And you have a very interesting story. Now, let me give you all a little backdrop here. I met Tom a few years ago for writing with the Savannah. And your haunt started off as something that you were doing in your front yard.
Oh, yeah.
And part of your garage, right? So can you tell the folks a little bit about the history of Wicked South Productions, where you kind of like started with this whole thing?
Yeah, no, definitely. So first, how come you only talk about this type of stuff this time of year, though? This is like 12 months out of the year for me.
I know you work on it all year.
But I started as a home haunter, is what it's officially called. But I've always been into Halloween. Worked retail for a long time, so I would have kind of first choice on lots of cool Halloween decorations and stuff like that as they came out, and started kind of adding to our display each year. And my son, I got a boy and a girl, and kind of wanted something to do other than watching TV. So we started making tombstones. Started that way, and it was in the front yard, then it was in the backyard, then it was in a neighbor's garage, then it was in the other neighbor's yard. And we kind of spread out and got into making a lot of our own stuff instead of just buying it at the store, which is still cool to do. Got into buying different
the props nowadays are like incredible, like the masks and the gear and all that. Like I remember as a kid, they had the little plastic mask with the spongy string.
Oh yeah.
Like today's stuff, it looks so theater Hollywood realistic.
I was Mr.
Even like
Spock for like 6 years.
Oh yeah,
Spock in the box. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But I have some of my crew wear masks that were far more expensive than several of my first vehicles.
Oh,
so
wow.
that's the type of stuff that they have out there now. So it's really, really cool.
I know a guy named Aaron that he does cosplay, and he gets those acrylic masks, I guess, or whatever. Okay. And so he does a lot of that stuff where, I mean, like it's a full blown industry now.
Oh, absolutely.
Like the haunts and the, I always want to call them haunted houses.
Sure.
But what's like the term that people use nowadays?
Well, we're part of the Haunted Attraction Association, so it's really referred to as haunted attractions.
Haunted attractions.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, it was like haunted houses were like the thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that's kind of grown into this whole entertainment industry.
It's huge. Every March we go to the Trans World Convention out in St. Louis, and you have representatives from Busch Gardens and all the Universal, and then all the big haunts throughout the U.S. and the stuff you see there is just absolutely amazing. It's more realistic every year, and it'll really blow your mind. So
yeah, Tom, Sebastian is in the studio with us. Hey, Sebastian, how are you doing? Doing all right. My son, he plays heavy metal for us, which I think is a perfect backdrop for haunted attractions. Go ahead, Bass. Do you mind playing a little bit for us? That's awesome.
Nice.
I tell you, I know he's my son, and I'm bragging on him a little bit, but he started off at what, you were 13, and got him a little. You were interested in playing, and I was like, okay, I'll get you a little starter guitar. So we got him a guitar and a little amp at a pawn shop, and I was like, if you play and you get into this, I'll buy you something nicer or whatever. And man, I'm always blown away, because for me, I love like horror stuff, and I love heavy metal. I've always liked heavy metal. What is you like? Is it thrash or death, or what is it?
Both.
Yeah. What's your band, Krieger? What's it mostly?
It's a little bit both.
Yeah, but it just fits. I mean, like in the whole horror genre to me. And I write the horror fiction. So I think stuff like your Wicked South. It's like that kind of thing. People that are into that kind of thing, like that suspense and that that adrenaline feeling.
It's all along the same line.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
absolutely. I'm a huge Ozzy Osbourne fan, so music like that is cool.
Yeah, you opened Wicked South Productions. I want to say 2016, 2015.
This is our 4th season, so whatever that works out to be.
I just remember we were talking, and you had the first one, and you built it up every year. We almost didn't open this year.
Correct.
And that was like, what? That I'm so glad that y'all did open, because
Me too.
it's one of those things where like you don't want to see something where you put work in for like a whole year. Like literally, you're probably already working on next year's, right?
Oh, absolutely.
To see something like that happen where it might not open because of some technical issues or whatever. So can you talk about that a little bit? Like, how you got over the hump, and now you've got the new season.
Well, one of our challenges has been that we're at a different location every season, which is ultimately not the goal. That's not what we want to be. That's just the way it is right now. So whenever you're going to a new spot, there's always going to be some kind of obstacles. Every year we deal with something.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things that happened this year, and but we were able to work through it. So
I'm
that's
glad.
the main thing.
I'm glad. Yeah, I'm super glad, because that's one of the things that we talk about on the show is like overcoming life happens stuff. Like still, I mean, like literally, if you're a creative person, if you're an indie person, I mean, you're doing an indie, production here, things are going to happen.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's like, do you just give up, or do you keep pushing through and make it happen?
No, you can't give up. It's it's a challenge, but this is a business I'm in, but it's a passion that I'm in. So I'm extremely passionate about what I do.
Oh yeah.
And I'll be doing it regardless.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
I was thinking like at first I was like, oh my gosh, I bet you, Tom, if it doesn't work out, you're either going to find another location or you're going to have something at your house. That's what I was thinking. Like the first thing in my head was like, he's either going to find another location like now.
Well, it's hard to do that because there's a lot of stuff in the background, so it's hard to find a spot. But luckily, because this is our 4th season, I do have more contacts nowadays. Things tend to come to us slightly easier, although it's still painful, but definitely easier than when we first opened the door, for sure. So.
Yeah, people are a little leery when you're an upstart. You guys just blew it out of the water that first year.
People are just kind of a little leery when you tell them that you're working on something Halloween related after you eat dinner on Christmas Day. So it's just kind of the way it is.
Yeah. That is so interesting, because y'all are a big part of the community. You do a lot of things. Like I'm actually holding your brochures here and some tickets, some promotional tickets or whatever that we're going to give away after on the podcast or whatever. But you do a lot. I mean, and I'm looking at the brochure here. This is as good of anything that I've ever seen. I mean, literally, the production of it. You are very professional with the stuff that you put out there. All the stuff. Like I remember when you guys came to the Quill. You had that zombie corpse that people could pose with, and people were freaking out. Like literally, You remember I had people that actually canceled. They said, I want a refund on my tickets. I literally had people, y'all, the Savannah Quill, y'all were off in your own little corner. You weren't out in front. You know, it was like kind of like your own thing. And you're over by the horror authors. But I literally had people that came back and said, this shouldn't be here. And I was like, why not? I mean, don't kids like Halloween?
Well, that happens whenever we set up. We usually have something going on at some point during the year to promote, and typically that pretty much always happens. Somebody's offended that we're set up next one. But we're we're really,
that kind of is neat though, because like it's not really offensive. Like y'all are the nicest people. I mean, like literally, you're very professional. You know, you don't cuss and do a lot of that nasty stuff that some of the other folks do. Like, and I'm not talking about anybody in Savannah, but
Sure.
I'm just talking about promoters in general. And always very professional, always very friendly, approachable. And it was a big hit. I mean, like people loved taking photos with your zombie.
Zombie Ollie is his name.
Especially that was like kind of like the highlight too with The Walking Dead was really popular.
Oh, yeah.
And, it's like, oh my gosh, I want to get my picture taken. But there are folks out there that are gonna be like, that's not for me. I don't like it.
Well, that's understandable. So we have a lot of fun. My team is really, I have people with me that have been there all 4 seasons now.
Yeah.
We really have a family type bond.
Yeah.
We're trying to do more to keep together, and as a result, I have had the people that have been with me each season. So we really have a good group, and we're all a little bit off. I mean, there's something not right. But we're all really good people though.
Hey, Sebastian, what is my nickname? Like they call me Weirdo.
Weirdo.
Yeah. Like right now, you're Beardo and I'm Weirdo. There's nothing wrong with being a little strange.
That's right.
As long as you're on the healthy side of strange.
That's right.
Y'all are tuning into WRUU LP Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM, WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings Community Radio with Global Soul. Patrick Welsh was on a couple weeks ago. And, one of the things I really liked about it was Savannah is such a family community. Y'all had posted about not being able to open, and they were like, hey, is there anything we could do to help y'all? And that, to me, I was like, wow, that just shows how Savannah really is, versus like maybe some other big cities where it's like, oh, well, we're happy you're not opening because that means that more people coming to us. And that's one of the things I like about our community here in Savannah is that we all are like, well, wait a minute, we're a big family here. How can we help? What can we do, to support what's going on? So I thought that was really cool.
That's super cool.
Yeah, I mean, like I thought that was so cool because y'all are the 2 biggest haunts in Savannah. There's a couple other smaller ones, and they've got their cool stuff going on, but y'all are like the 2 big ones.
It's all about the enjoyment of the season.
Yeah,
we're Halloween people. My family and we've gone to the Terror Plantation. We missed it the first 2 seasons because the first 2 seasons were open because of the overlap. Then last year we had a different type of schedule where we were at, so we were able to go out last year. But we go out there every year. They put on an awesome show.
Well, I look at it like
it's certainly for
if you
like
one, you're probably gonna like the other one.
That's it. Yeah.
That's one of the things that's like, well, you can go to one weekend, go to the other weekend, and that's something I like about our community, specifically with Savannah, is that we have that sense of family. It's not so much, okay, it's competition or whatever. It's not competition. Sure. It's like, okay, we're what's the word for it? It's not collaboration. It's when one boosts up the other.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like oh gosh, it starts with a C word.
I know what you mean.
Complimentary.
It's complimentary. Sure.
Yeah.
I think it's like Louisville, in Kentucky. There's like 30 pro haunts within so many miles.
Oh wow!
So it's crazy. I mean, it's really,
I didn't know that.
And when we opened, Friday night I was running around like crazy, but Saturday I got to talk to more people, and I was just stunned how so many people said we just came from Terror Plantation, or you were going to leave here. Now we're heading to Savannah, go Terror Plantation.
Yeah,
so most people who are really into it will try to hit as many as possible.
Yeah, and this is like you said, like why aren't we doing this all year round?
So,
this is like go season for people that like you know.
Well, now with that said, I like building stuff all year round. I wouldn't want to be open all year round. I just like creating all year round.
Could you imagine if there was a haunt attraction like that was open all year round?
They're out there. They're out there, but
It's a lot of
you
work.
have to talk to my partner about that.
You're oh my gosh. What keeps you going year after year?
Well,
Like, you've been doing this for a while. I mean, like, this didn't just start with the big haunt, you know.
No. Started in the backyard. Again, it's just fun. I just enjoy doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I like making things. Surrounded myself with incredible people, creative people that all have different talent levels, and it's just fun to do. I mean, we just enjoy doing it. So.
I saw your video where you were poking the rainwater out, and
It is completely dry right now.
no.
Completely dry.
It was funny because, like, you know, you got drenched, and I was like, you know, this is the kind of stuff I think is, you know, it kind of hits home. It's like, you know, let's have fun with it.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to be super serious all the time. You know, it's for enjoyment.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the kind of thing I think is pretty cool.
No, definitely. So one of the challenges of being completely outside this year was the rain we had over the weekend. So.
Oh yeah. But y'all are open tonight.
We're opening tonight. We're doing
looks
a little
beautiful outside right now.
Little makeup date. So as soon as I leave here, I mean, I got to jet out there. So
Open at 7, right?
7:00. So
Yeah, and you probably got like a ton of work to finish.
it's not too bad. We went out there this morning. Luckily, the wind and the rain settled down. We got what we had to put up, and then, like I said, I got good people that are getting ready for me right now. So
What can folks expect from the experience that have never went?
Yeah, well, if you never went, this year is definitely different than anything we've done in the past. So, first of all, a cornfield at night is just naturally creepy.
Yeah.
It's dark.
You wouldn't catch me in one.
It's dark. The sound of the corn, just a light
Rustling
wind.
and all that. Yeah.
So it's super cool. And
I always think of Children of the Corn too. Like,
Oh,
when I pass a cornfield, I'm always like, you know, get that little that little look like
you can't see it coming out there this year. That's the one thing. We have our dress rehearsal, and we have different things we do to prepare that we can't do until we're in wherever it is we're going to be. And the other night, there's just a long. I mean, it's a maze of corn. So I'm just going down one of the rows, and one of my guys was literally right there, and I just never saw him. I didn't see him until I came like 5 foot up against him. So
Wow.
it's just
Did it freak
it's
you out?
super cool. No, not at all. It's very hard to scare me.
oh, really?
No.
See, that's a challenge, right? I have this segment that I do now. Zach Dennis is the editor over the Savannah Morning News.
Okay.
So I'm going to play it's actually the preview of the Do Savannah coming up. So let me play this. Let's see. It should be playing. Give me a second here. Should be playing, but it's not. I'm going to come back to it. I got to reload it. But one of the things that he talks about is the upcoming article about the haunts. So,
Cool.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit more about your team. Can you talk a little bit more about Mecca and the folks that work with you?
Yeah, so Mecca and I worked together at a large retailer in the area for a long time. And invited him over one Halloween. Had this crazy idea that I needed more space than just a few garages, and he really fell in love with it. And he's a great guy to work with because he's just really has lots of connections. He knows a lot of the technical side of the business and things like that. A lot of things we complement each other real well.
Yeah.
So we make a good team, and he's been terrific to work
he
with,
definitely is a good ops guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the communication I've had with him, setting things up, is with him.
Yeah.
And so we talk or whatever, and you know, like even this interview, you know, it's just kind of set up, and then he's getting back and forth with you and that kind of thing. And
I'm sure he apologized to you several times that you only had me on the show.
no. I would love to have both of y'all on, but I mean, like, I understand he wasn't able to make it today. I think I figured out the problem with this aux real quick, so let me try it again. This is Zach Dennis, everybody from the Savannah Morning News, Do Savannah.
Hey guys, this is Zach Dennis, the editor of Do Savannah, joining you for this Do Savannah Top 5 update. Look ahead to the week. Of course, you can find Do Savannah at DoSavannah.com, on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, so please check us out. We got a bunch of great stuff. You can get this Top 5 during the week on your Instagram stories if you'll join us on Instagram. But that's a whole other thing. Let's dive into the week, and this week is the first official big week for, official big, whatever you'd like to call it, the first week of the film festival. We got all this stuff coming, and Do Savannah, we're gonna have a preview. If you write this Sunday, today, the Savannah Morning News had a big feature that I wrote about the film festival coming up. But on Do Savannah, we're gonna have a bunch of interviews with some of the honorees, Aldous Hodge, Valerie Packner, as well as the writers from A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, which is the closing night film for this year's film festival. They talked about Mr. Rogers, and they had been researching him for like a decade, and they found out that, spoiler alert guys, Mr. Rogers is a nice guy. And so they talked a little bit about that, but we're going to have all of that, as well as the docs to watch, the Wonder Woman panel, the Southern Voices short film series, as well as the Refinery 29 series they have that's coming up this new year. We also have a Dying column, as always, from Neil. Looking forward to seeing what he has there. But if you're looking for some community stuff, we're going to have some stories. There is an Addams Family play out at the Georgia Southern Armstrong campus that sounds really neat. We have the Pride Festival happening over at the LGBT Center. They have a number of events. We're going to have a rundown of those. You also have a bunch of haunted houses that I'm going to leave Adam to talk about because he's been compiling this list, so he probably knows all the spooky spots. And then finally, we have the Deep Speaks competition, the Deep Speaks reading coming up as well. We're going to have a story on that. But that is all on DoSavannah.com. Thank you guys for the update. Again, DoSavannah.com, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all the stuff. Thank you.
And that haunted house piece, like, I've been doing that, I think, for the last 5 years. And that's one of my favorites is, talking with the different folks from, like yourself and like Patrick. And usually the funny thing about it is, like, the folks that like horror and they like, thrillers and stuff like that, they're usually some of the nicest people. You know what I mean? Like, they're super friendly. They just like creepy stuff, just fantasy type creepy stuff,
Sure.
not real life, like real life serial murderers are not cool. You know what I mean? But a movie about a serial murderer is pretty cool. Like that goth and gore and, that kind of thing.
Most people that I've come across in the industry are really nice, very approachable. So, and I guess because you're sharing similar interests as well. So
Yeah, you have something in common. Everybody, you're tuning in today to WRUU LP Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM, WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings, community radio with global soul. And this is the Adam Messer Show. I'm your host, Adam Messer. And my special guest today is the mastermind behind Wicked South Productions, Thomas McCormick. Tom. So thanks a lot for being on the show today, man. This is a lot of fun. Let's pick your brain a little bit. All right. Favorite horror movie?
Oh, wow. Well, I like the classics, so I really like the Draculas and Frankensteins and things like that. I'm going to catch heck when I go back and my guys hear that, but I like the classic movies.
I love the classics. I like the old classics. Now, I'm not like a super movie buff, but there's actually a DVD collection of like 6 or 7 of those classic Hollywood monster movies.
Sure.
I love those monster movies. Dracula is like one of my favorites. I remember as a kid, dressing up as Dracula for Halloween, Frankenstein, the Wolfman and stuff like that when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
We had drive-in theaters back then, you remember that? Yeah. And being able to see it, the black and white, like the Bride of Frankenstein type thing.
It's super cool. I just think it's cool. Just watching it's creepy. So
yeah, I love. Okay, so what's your favorite modern horror?
I like all the Halloweens. So that's my favorite. Would be the Halloweens.
Okay. What do you do for fun outside of the haunt?
Well, I'm a huge sports fan. Baseball, football, and
Who's your
hockey.
team?
So, let's not talk about actually any of that today because they're all in bad shape.
Oh,
It's
yeah?
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so my baseball team's not playing anymore.
Oh, gosh.
My hockey team is horrible, and my football team is in misery right now.
So you're not really enjoying the season.
No.
He doesn't even want to mention the team's names, y'all. That's how bad it is. I mean, that's pretty bad. I'm a Reds fan. I grew up in Cincinnati, and Bengals fan. Even though Bengals, whatever. And we had a hockey team when I was a kid called the Cyclones, and I think they were like a not a major league, but like a minor league. Not even really a minor league team. I can't remember. I don't think they were like a recruiting team. They're
I've heard of that. Yeah, it wasn't NHL. It was like...
Yeah, it's like some other hockey league
Yeah.
or whatever. But I used to love going to the games. I used to love doing that. It was
Sure.
a lot of fun
Sure.
this time of the year. So are you from Louisville?
No. I'm actually from New Jersey.
Oh,
So,
really?
Yeah, but I've been New Jersey. I went to college in Pennsylvania, and then we moved to South Carolina, and now we're here. So I'm from New Jersey. My wife's from West Virginia. My daughter's from South Carolina, and my son is from right here in Savannah, Georgia.
Oh, cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. And my wife is actually from Mexico City, and my oldest daughter was born in Wichita, and my two youngest were born in Savannah.
Well, there you go. Yeah,
so
yeah. It's interesting.
Same kind of setup.
So,
yeah. I'm originally from Cincinnati. It's like, you just got to collect people together. So, yeah, that's pretty cool, Tom. So we were talking a little bit about Mecca and the team. What's something that over the years that kind of surprised you with the haunt that you weren't expecting and it just turned out to be something really cool?
Well, the really coolest thing is just the group of people that I'm with. When we opened the doors, it was me, Emeka, and a good friend of mine, Brian. That was pretty much the team when we opened when we got to where we were setting up at.
Mm-hmm.
So, and since then, I mean, I have so many people that are dedicated and help and will pretty much. It doesn't matter if I'm calling on October 1st or April 1st or whatever it is. I know I could count on them. They come through for me. So I'm really, really blessed to have the team that I have right now. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So.
Your actors that you have for the haunt, do y'all train them, or did they someone come as trained?
Some have come. We have Kevin has been a pro haunter for like 15 or 20 years or something like this, maybe longer. I mean,
wow.
he's terrific. He's worked at major haunts throughout the country, and so you got people like that, which is one extreme. Then you got the people that this is their first show with us this season. So
yeah.
We work on it, and that's the other thing you see is how a character gets built.
Yeah. Because it's like a whole, like you said, a character, but it's like a whole little universe with that character.
Sure.
Like, they have their own backgrounds and
backstories, and we have some people that in the first season, when we did Paranoia Nights, that started then that they put on a mask and maybe they stood in a corner and they were cool and stuff, but then the next season they got something more, a mask that's more comfortable, or started doing more makeup that's more comfortable, and then they started doing more of a speaking role, and then they started forming a backstory. So it's just amazing. We have several people like that have really from the ground up, and they're not working on it just in October. They're perfecting their craft really throughout the year.
Yeah.
So.
I think anybody that I talk to a lot of indie creators. I'm a writer and author and all that, but I think anybody that loves what they're doing, it's not really a burden. It's
Sure.
a labor of love.
Yeah.
You get caught up. Like, I mean, I was up this morning at like 5 working on stuff. I mean, I can't remember what time I messaged y'all, but I had sent an infographic based off of the picture you sent me. And so, it's one of those things where you're constantly trying to work on making, your thing better. You're developing it, you're evolving it, and sometimes things just kind of happen.
Yeah.
Like you said, people come to you. That's one of the neat things about, like, when you start to do something, I think human nature, people are just naturally, they want to help other people. So like they say, oh, Tom, I know so-and-so, or so-and-so, I know Tom, and his group does the Wicked South Productions. You've said that you want to be a haunt actor.
Sure.
Let me introduce you, that kind of thing. And
networking definitely helps. So, one of my favorite things about this business is like you said, working on it at all hours and things like that. One of my favorite things is I like getting when I get ideas for, usually my ideas come a year in advance. So if I get an idea right now, it's certainly going towards next season or just on a file somewhere. But I like getting these really great, crazy ideas at the most inappropriate times. That's like one of my favorite things. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll happen too. Like I was talking to Alidria Hurt earlier, and we were talking about world building, because right now we're kind of talking about world building, character creation and world building.
Okay.
You're making your own universe,
Sure.
for these characters. And it's all the same thing. It's like a story.
Yep.
You come up with a story. And while we were talking, I actually had an idea based off of that conversation that I'm going to, flesh it out. And I was thinking like, okay, well, do you remember back in the day, the story books that would say, choose your own story?
Sure.
You remember those?
Yeah.
So you'd read them, and then you'd say, oh, well, choice A or choice B.
Yeah.
Go to page 59 or go to page 128. Like does Mikey go to the hall to the left, or does he go to the hall to the right? Now the hall to the left is very well lit and clean. The one on the right has a light that's kind of flickering and it's dark, but you can hear this eerie sound in the hall on the left where there's no sound on the right. Which way do you want to go?
Yeah.
And you pick that. So I was thinking like, okay, well this idea would be not the same kind of thing, but similar. Where, okay, you give someone a selection of choices on how to build a character.
Sure.
And then they create that character based off of this kind of structure or this framework that you've given them, but it's their character. You've just kind of, it's like one of those things like they say, give someone a fish, they eat for a day. Teach someone to fish, they eat
Sure.
for a lifetime. When you show somebody, or you can say, hey, like, I'm not going to tell you what character to be, but I'll show you the tools that you can do so you can build a character.
Absolutely.
I think that's one of the cool things, especially like with yours, it's live action. The haunts, they're live action. So, there's certain rules that they have to follow,
Sure.
Certain protocols or whatever. So people are safe, first of all. Safety obviously is like the first thing. But you want people to be, that you want them to get that thrill.
Yeah.
Well,
I really empower the team to create and build their own character. We'll share ideas throughout the year. We'll come up with some type of theme, and we'll kind of say, okay, we're leaning towards this. Most of what I've done every year, the way we're set up is pretty flexible as far as if they come up with something cool, they could almost guaranteed to run with it. But with that said, I don't really want. I want our own fresh characters that they're creating.
Yeah,
I want everything to be original.
To be new.
I can't copy the movie and expect it to be the same.
Right.
So I want them to come up, but then I want them, like we said, to build it and understand that character that's in that scene, why are they the way they are right now? What happened, and know their backstory.
Yeah.
And that'll just give you more fuel when you're out there, and you go live. So
talk to me more about like some of the ends that people might not know when they're going through a haunt, what it's like, like the opposite side, like what,
like behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes. Tell me, Tom. You gotta unleash some of these secrets upon the world.
Behind the scenes, it's real top secret. I mean, it's state of the art.
Is this gonna be like your sports team names? You're like, I'm not telling you. Like,
yeah. No, behind the scenes is cool. It is really cool because the obvious on my end, my primary responsibility is the build. Okay, so behind the scenes, I have to make sure that you could find your way through a fire exit when I'm putting things together. I have to make sure that there's a way to slip in and out besides an access area. So there's just so many things behind the scenes. So from sound, from lighting, from the costume area, from paperwork and things like that.
Well, it's a lot of work.
Safety.
It's a lot of work to do one of these. I mean, like you're talking about hours, for like basically a work shift. And someone working in a costume. We're in Georgia. Even though it's October, it's still warm.
It's been this year, the challenge being outside this year, which has been awesome. It's really a terrific event. The reviews are coming back really strong.
Yeah.
The challenge this year is we set up primarily in September. I was hoping to go in September 1st.
Mm-hmm.
We had the hurricane there right at the beginning of the month, so that we lost about a week. And then it was 100 degrees every day.
Yeah.
And we're working out there at really 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10, 11, and I mean in the heat of the day.
Yes.
And that was the challenge. Where in the past, where we were inside, I might get there at 8 o'clock in the morning and I might leave at 2 o'clock in the morning. I didn't really care. But here, the working out in the heat was pretty intense.
Yeah,
so
it wears you out.
So that was definitely a challenge for this season.
Well, I'm glad that y'all put it together and it worked out really well. We have about 15 minutes for the show.
All right.
Tell me more about Tom. Tell me more about how did you get into horror as a kid, or when did the passion for this come around?
Well, I guess probably the first movies again that I saw as a kid was Dracula and Frankenstein, Psycho, the original Halloween. Those were the ones that were really big. I remember trick-or-treating, me and my brother going out, and that's an awfully long time ago. But I just liked it. I liked bobbing for apples and carving pumpkins.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the decorations at the time were ridiculous.
Yeah.
All cardboard or whatever. But
did y'all ever have anybody pass out pennies?
Oh, yeah, I used to get the 5 pennies, rolled up
Yeah.
in the
That's something they don't do
aluminum
now.
foil.
Yeah, it's so literally. I remember people would giving you
Pennies,
pennies,
yeah.
Instead of candy.
I used to get pennies, fruit. Used to get fruit all the time back then.
Yeah, fruit.
Unwrapped candy too. I'd get too. You wouldn't even think of it really back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you could just dig in the thing. I mean, I remember the big scare when I was a kid. Was the needles in the apples, and then all of a sudden nobody was, or the razor blades in the apples. All of a sudden nobody was doing apples anymore.
Yeah.
They would not pass out fruit, candy. Then they had the thing where they would do the metal detectors at the police stations and the fire stations, stuff like that. They'd wand the candy and all that, and so it's changed. And then today's culture, have a lot of helicopter parents, and one of the things I like about the change is the trunk or treats.
Mm-hmm.
Those are pretty cool.
Yeah.
You hardly ever see trick-or-treaters anymore.
It depends where you're at. So we were in the Godley Park neighborhood. We're not there anymore. So I don't want you to go out on Halloween and be disappointed. But we would have 300-400 kids come through. We'd have the police out front.
Wow.
And they'd be directing traffic and stuff because it got carried away. I don't know how it happened. But it was a great area to go trick-or-treating. Really, really great area. So then, of course, we went into we opened the official haunted house the first year. So unfortunately, I still set up some stuff at the house because my son was disappointed. As much as he liked it, he missed the walking around. So my mom and dad will come in for Halloween to make sure he can go around. But now we moved. We're out in a rural area. I've accumulated lots of junk, and it just didn't fit in our old house.
Yeah.
So so now we're quite a ways from the neighbor, but there's still good places to go trick or treating out there. The trunk or treats certainly help. The schools always usually have something. Oatland Island's got something. So there's always something going on cool to take the kids.
Yeah.
So
that's one of the things I like. I think the haunts have definitely evolved. I mean, I remember as a kid going to haunted houses, and they were scary enough, but the stuff today is
everything's
super evolved.
Yeah, the technology's awesome.
Yeah.
So the technology that's out there is just like everything else. It's so much better. the costuming, the makeup, the masks, the sounds. I mean, the props, the animatronics. I mean, there's so much you could do.
Yeah.
And it's really terrific. And you could operate on a budget. Most of the first year props came. I'm into antiques and things like that, so I would go around trying to find props and stuff. I mean, you get a lot of stuff at your garage sales and Goodwill, and places like that.
Oh yeah.
And really get creative that way. And then you can go to like a convention and buy a prop for thousands of dollars. So it's really all ranges of the spectrum.
Do you have a particular brand that you like to use for the fake blood?
There's several good brands out there. So
Have you heard of the one that's called Can't Believe It's Not Blood?
I haven't heard.
Okay, so like this TV show that I was in, I can actually talk about it now, but it was actually filmed over at Moon River Brewing Company. And it was most terrifying places. And you got to forgive me, my brain's cramping up. But they were talking about like these haunts and stuff like that. And one of the things they used was, I can't believe it's not blood. And it looked like a strawberry quick bottle.
Yeah.
But the stuff is actually, it was the viscosity of it and the coloration. And it tasted like syrup.
There's a at the convention in St. Louis. There's I don't know. I've never bought it, but they have this several different kinds of blood. They have like sticky blood if you want to cover your props and have that look like it's almost like a surgery and it's sticking to your hands and like really gooping up on you. And then they have actor blood. So there's all different types, and it's pretty intense stuff.
It is. It was really crazy because we used that as a prop on set. And then the director, she was like, "Yeah, this is like the best stuff we found." They ordered it off of online, and
I can't believe it's not blood.
I can't believe it's not blood. I was like, who would have thought? It's just the weird, like the weird little connections that you have out there. It's like, oh, hey, Bass, do you mind playing a little bit for us? This is Sebastian Messer, everybody. His band's Krieger. Awesome. Yeah, that's one of the things I like about doing this show is having stuff we could talk about, playing some live music. It's just kind of like a whatever, like you
That's
do.
Cool.
Yeah, I love it. So that's Sebastian. Like I said, he's been playing a lot since he was about 13. But you've been talking about your son a lot. Is he kind of into the haunt stuff too, or?
He's into it. My daughter is big time into it.
Yeah.
She's a character in. She's built a character in our show, and she's really intense. She's amazing, and my son is. He helped me put quite a bit together. He's not super active in it right now. However, he's more of a member of the management staff outside the scenes right now. Okay. My daughter is in the show.
That's cool.
And she is.
She's
she
one of the
scares,
characters.
Yeah, she's really intense.
I think the kids are really
strong.
very when you see kids very creepy. It's like, ooh, like, especially if you think about ghosts and things like that. You're like, oh, it's a haunted,
I mean, we have all ages participating. We have, really the crew is just a wide range of people. So it's really good.
How can somebody get involved? Like obviously for this season, you probably have your actors.
Yeah. And well, this season we could always use help, but my head is like spinning around completely at this point, and trying to talk to me is, it's tough for me to manage
go time.
everything.
It's actually
go
show time.
Yeah. But
especially with Halloween coming up very soon.
If you're interested in Halloween, all you got to do is reach out to us through either wickedsouthproductions.com, or you can go to the Facebook page or Instagram. The number on there is my cell phone number, so you could get me, and we're working on stuff year round. So if you want to be part of it, and there's so many different, if you want to help with security, do you want to help with design, do you want to help with theming, do you want to actually dress up, do you want to just push some screws and nails with me? Yeah, so you don't necessarily have to have a character and jump right in. There's so many different ways to get involved.
And one of the benefits of volunteering with that is you can go through, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you certainly get VIP seats to the whole experience.
Yeah. It's kind of like you get to see some of the behind the scenes stuff, and then you kind of like, oh that's cool. Yeah, very cool. Like personally, I like the I like knowing, like finding out about like what's going on, and I like being able to share that with our community and talk to people about like, hey, because it does take a ton of work. I mean, y'all put in your team, you put in a ton of work every year. You're always trying to up the ante from year to year, make it a better experience from year to year. And I could just see the evolution of it, as it's come along, how much you put into it, and the team has put into it year after year after year.
Again, it's fun. We have fun with it. There's the stress of the business side stress, like the issue we had opening this year, and different inspections and things like that. I keep that off the team. All right, I do my best to keep that off the team. This year I kind of had to deliver some tough messages early on, but in general, I don't want them to worry about that. Those are the problems that me and Mecca has to deal with.
Yeah.
I want everybody to enjoy the season, enjoy the creative process, and because that's what it's all about. It's all about this month. It's all about Halloween. We're doing it because we love it. So.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's one of the cool things about being able to go out there and do that is you're trying to deliver something for the community. Obviously, there's a need. People like it, and I think it's so cool because people. This is the time of the year where you can dress up if you want to.
Sure.
And people aren't like looking at you like you're an oddball. You can go out and do these fun things. To me, it's like going to a theme park or something like that. It's like if I want to go to one of these. It's just amusement parks or whatever. It's the same kind of thing. It's an attraction.
Yeah, it's a good, clean fun. A lot of families do it as a tradition. You go out trick or treating. You go to a haunted house. Christmas time we used to ride and go chop our tree down somewhere. So it's just part of a holiday tradition. So, and it's a really good time. I mean, there's nothing wrong with going to the movies and things like that, but it's a type of entertainment. And whether you go with your family or friends, it's just a good time.
And talking about like going to a movie or whatever, like tickets are what, like $10
for a movie?
For the haunt.
Oh, for the haunt. $15 is the price this year. $2 off for military, first responders, and students, so $13. And then opening weekend, of course, that's behind us now. But opening weekend, we ran $10 off.
Oh, okay, that's where I was getting the $10 thing from. Okay. That's cool. So tonight, you've got people. What time was it? 7.
So we're 7 to 9 tonight. Tonight's a makeup date for last night. So
with that tropical rain.
Yeah, and then we'll be back open Friday and Saturday next weekend, the 25th and 26th, at 8:00 is our normal operating hours. 8 to 11. You want to make sure you're in line. We will shut off the line at that point. And it's out at Madrac Farms, 580 Ralph Ron Road in Rincon, Georgia. Not very far from here, so easy drive right up 21.
And Halloween weekend, I was looking at the calendar here. Halloween weekend you actually are going to do it the 31st, November 1st, and November 2nd.
Yeah, so
right?
Halloween's on a Thursday this year, which is a thing of beauty. That means we could roll right into Friday, Saturday.
3 days.
3 days. Yep,
Yeah.
Yep.
So it doesn't have to end just because.
No. I mean, that's a whole weekend long
The whole
of festivities there.
Yeah.
So enjoy it.
That's pretty cool. Well, I really appreciate you being on today, Tom. Again, they can go to wickedsouthproductions.com. Or it's wickedsouthproductions.com.
Yep.
And they can get your information. That's like Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff.
Yes, sir.
And the schedule's on there. I'm actually going to post a picture on Instagram too later on of this. And so thank you so much for being on the show today.
Appreciate it. Enjoyed it. Thanks for having me.
All right. Awesome. Up next, y'all, is the Savannah at Night crew.